Hi everyone, it's Kath and Annie. We are back for episode 3 of Real Estate in the Raw. And a big topic of conversation in our office this week has been about fear in the marketplace. Because if you've been paying attention, if you've been watching the news, you have probably heard about this gigantic raise in interest rates and one of the most historically quick inclines in interest rates, and everyone's buzzing about it. So we wanted to dig in with you all and give you the background on what's actually happening.
Right. So if you've been a buyer in the market in the past year and a half, it's painful, right? Because when you started shopping, rates may have been 2.5% to 3%, and now they're about 6%. So on a purchasing power scale, that can look very different monthly payment-wise. That's like your rent going from $500 a month to $2,000 a month. And if you're a buyer who's just gotten into the market, rates are still historically low at 5.5% to 6.5%.
So true.
So what we want to go over is why did rates go that low? Why were they that low? And I've talked to a lot of buyers lately that are so exhausted because of this rate shift that has been in the market so long, they want to bow out or wait till rates go back that low again. We don't think that that's going to happen again, and Cass is going to explain why.
Yeah, so we had a great conversation yesterday with one of our favorite lenders, and he really broke it down for us. And he used this term that we had not heard of. It's called quantitative easing. So the definition is it's a monetary policy strategy used by central banks like the Federal Reserve. And the idea behind it is that when something goes wrong, which in this case, a big pandemic that no one saw coming, and a lot of people did not want to spend, and there was so much uncertainty. So what the Federal Reserve did was they decided to try to, in an attempt to reduce interest rates and keep the economy flowing and thriving, they purchased up a bunch of securities and did what they could to keep the economy bumping. The issue with that is, of course, we knew that was not going to last forever. So everyone knew that it was going to be temporary, but we didn't know exactly what it was going to look like in terms of getting out of this, really good time to buy and when money was almost free. And they could have come back from it a couple different ways. The way that they decided to come back from it was probably more sudden than people thought. Interest rates, pretty much, they were just yep, we're going to tick, 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 and now we're sort of back to where we were in the beginning. And it was not as gradual over time as people thought it was going to be, which is why the media and the news and everyone has just really latched on to this fear tactic of, oh my God, what's going to happen? Everything's so expensive, inflation. But like anything else, that's what sells, and that isn't necessarily the whole truth.
Right, and just because, with inflation and the market shift, that does not at all indicate a housing crash. That's also very important to understand. Dave Ramsey, who is a amazing economist, real estate connoisseur, has been talking a lot lately about how right now the time is the time to buy because there's scarcity in the market of housing shortage, but there's also fear. So there's more houses coming on the market. Now buyers can negotiate again, get your closing costs covered, all these things that have been non-existent for the past 2 years. So I'm going to tell you a story about my own personal life. I bought my first home in 2012. The market was exactly like this. Not, pre-pandemic, or post-pandemic, but it was a weird downturn in the market. There was a lot of fear. Nobody knew what was going to happen. I purchased thinking I didn't know if I was at the height of the market or middle of the market. I didn't know. I bought my house for $300,000. Yeah, I did have to put some work into it. But I just sold my house this year for $900,000.
So crazy.
Which is bananas. And it's every 10-year cycle, if you keep your house for at least 5, but every 10-year cycle in history, you will always be in the green.
So true.
Right? So unless something happens and you buy a house and then in 12 months you're oh, I got a job transfer, well, then you may not make any money. But it's absolutely still the best investment, and you should really talk to your agents, talk to people who have bought and sold in the real estate industry, because it's still a great time to buy.
It really
is. It's a great time to sell.
The market is doing great things still. Yeah. One more thing we want to touch on in terms of this fear and what a lot of our clients are asking us about is, okay, if we do decide to stay on the sidelines now because we cannot believe this like uptick in interest rates and we don't know if we can afford what we wanted to and now we want to wait, rent is doing the exact same thing.
Right.
So I think that's another like big sort of like misconception as well. I guess I'll just like keep renting. But so many of our clients have come to us and said, you know, we want to keep renting. We do think that maybe they might come down a little bit, but now our rent has increased by X amount. Like the cost of everything is going up. So don't only focus on the negative, like we always say.
Yes.
Focus on the positive.
Yeah, focus on the positive and reach out. Like we are coaches. We will coach you in your home buying or selling process. And if you want to wait, we'll coach you on the wait. But if you want to hit the ground running, we'll coach you on hitting the ground running.
We're ready. All right, while we have the one and only Annie Balcerzak in the car, we're going to do a fun little rapid fire series where I'm just going to ask her questions. And because this is real estate in the raw, and we also are dealing with one of the most real raw people you will ever encounter in your life, she has to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Okay.
And it could be real estate related or not, but we're just going to give her some questions. So the first question, what do you think is the biggest financial mistake that you have made?
Definitely focusing on my competitors and looking at what they're doing, and then feeling like I have to do what they do in order to succeed.
So like,
right? So like, you know, if somebody buys a billboard and I see them on a billboard, I'm like, I need a billboard, right? Or, you know, it could be anything. But I think instead of wearing blinders, it's so easy to look at your competition and then you chase shiny objects because of your competition. So those are always the biggest mistakes, right? Like instead of being focused on your people, your brand and you become focused on the competition and the best resources. Wear blinders for a reason.
So good. Okay, question number 2. You walked into the bar today. What is your cocktail order?
Extra dirty martini with blue cheese stuffed olives. With Tito's.
Tito's, sponsor us. We're ready at any time.
But I am a beer drinker. I'm a beer drinker at heart, but if you were going cocktail,
all day. Okay. Question number 3, which everyone knows that you love to travel. What is on the travel horizon for you and or Tom and or your family and the kids?
We will be going to Mexico to celebrate Tom's birthday in September for a couple of days. That's so long without the kids. They're already having fun right now without me.
They never want me to leave.
Right, they never want me to leave. But then we have a really exciting trip coming up over Christmas. We are going to do Peru. We're going to do Machu Picchu, and then we're going to go into Bolivia. So we're really excited to. It's our first tackle of South America.
Oh my God, I actually can't wait to hear about that.
Yeah, so I'll post about it all on our Instagram.
Right.
Because I really love the fact that like we travel with our kids and to make it easy to travel with kids.
Yeah.
So again, if anyone needs any advice like traveling with kids abroad,
are you using an agency or you guys just sort of?
No, we did it ourselves, but this time is different in that we are doing independent travel guides like while we're there. You know what I mean? So different, like for a big city that we visit, we'll have a travel guide with us.
Oh, cool.
To kind of make sure that we hit all like the touristy spots. Yes.
Holes in the wall.
Holes in the wall. I do. I really do.
Okay. Any other questions that I'm on? No.
Those are really good.
I liked it. Not a quick color.
The next time I have to get you on the rapid fire.
No, we're really, yeah. Think they're fun, but I just think that they're like fun.
They are so fun. Yeah, they are.
Like probably when
the rapid fire would be good.